Hey everybody, what's going on? It's me, Teddy. I am actually not back with my normal software development class, but today I'm actually doing a software development project for another one of my classes. Specifically for my database administration class, we've been tasked for our final project to do a generative AI programming assignment. And we were in charge of creating a software solution that integrates a database and shows you the what's the word I'm thinking of? It shows you the changes you make in the database, like live and in front of your face, I guess. We're tasked of creating objects, updating them, removing them, as well as a custom function. We'll get into that shortly here in a second before we start. I do want to specify I am sick, so if I do sound like crap, I am sorry. If I cough a lot, I am sorry. I will try to get through this the best I can. Kind of snuck up on me. Okay, so going over our program here, just to talk a little bit of information about it before we get further into it. This is a library management system, so basically a way for library to check what books are checked in, what books are checked out, what books may be overdue, if any, and the information about the book. So, like the ISBN, the author's name, the title of the book, the publishing company, and the year it's published. As well as some of them do have image files because I did try to implement it pulling from the Open Library database for these books. However, for some reason, some of the images did not get pulled back in properly. That is an issue on their side, not mine. So yeah, let's go over real quick and we get started. We're going to talk about our different classes we have here. First, we're going to start out with our book.java. Now, mind you, there are currently no comments in this. I'm going to go ahead and comment them, but I wanted to show that the program is in fact working how it should be. So first of all, we have our book.java, and basically what this is it tells the system what a book is. Basically, it's an item for both the library app and the database manager to pull from, as well as the database itself. Next, we have our database manager. This is the code here that handles all the processing of the database. We do have some SQL comments already in here. We want to start off by when we're running the thing that it automatically creates a database or a table if it's not there. We have some errors and some testings done, if you will, to make sure that we are catching all. I hate to use it this way, but we want to idiot-proof our system. We want to make sure that the user's not doing any unintended, issues like adding duplicates or, putting information in incorrect spots. So like the ISBN and the title name, the author's name and the year is published, stuff like that. So we went in here and we put in some try catches to try to catch these. For example, here, this is a duplicate book one that will print out this message as says error checking for book, that a book already exists. Another example here would be add book. If you try to add book and it's already there, you can't. This is, a try catch to make sure that it's pulling in all of the books properly and updating them properly as they get, updated. We also have our function here for our delete book. These are the core CRUD functions, or crude functions. I'm not sure the way it's pronounced. But these are the core requirements of what is required for this program as outlined by the project specifications. Specifically that it needs to implement all of those. Next, we're going to go over the main application itself. The main app here is our library app. Basically, it handles the core functionality of what the GUI itself is going to look like, how that's all displayed out. We wanted to make sure, since we're dealing with like data and stuff like that, we're going to set it up in a table format. So we're going to have the different table columns. We'll get into it. As you can see here, it's ISBN, title, author, book status. That can either be set to checked in or checked out. And then there will also be a due date, because since this is a library, I wanted to make sure that whenever a book is flagged as checked out, that it implements an automatic checkout policy of 2 weeks. I'm not sure if this is actually still the case, but I actually used to work in a public library system in Hillsborough County, and it was a standard 2 week checkout. You couldn't check out a book more than that. You could take it back, check it in, check it back out again. However, you could not continuously have it for more than 2 weeks. So that's why I did set that rule in there. I do believe that it is a standard, as far as I know. You can fact check me in the comments if you would like to. Some things I did mention before. I mentioned getting covers for all these books from the open library, and that some of these books did not have images. I have in fact confirmed that those books themselves do not have image files on the site. That's why they're kicking back an error. Or not rather an error, but rather a warning when I go to run the program. It doesn't stop the program from running in any way, shape, or form. It's just stating and letting me know, hey, Open Library doesn't have an image for that book. I ran into this case with one of the books, but we'll get into that once we run the program itself. But essentially, this function here, this method, is to download and cache the image, so it's on the device and it doesn't take a million years once you've done the initial loading of those images for it to pull back up into the system. It doesn't have to re-download them from the internet every time you need to open the program. That would be very, very bad. Some other things I want to talk about, some private methods I want to talk about. I did create one that allows you to filter by series. Granted, at this moment, the only options we have are all books, just so we have a general frame of like what everything looks like. But let's say you want to filter your favorite popular series. I did include some filter by series options here. For example, we have a filter based off of the series of Animorphs. If anybody knows the Animorph series, there's over like 50 books. If we want to count all the spin-offs, there's close to like 60 something. StarCraft has like 7 or 8. World of Warcraft / Warcraft. They also have like a really big like volume of like books currently out there, as well as Stephen King. All of these people have different amounts of books in their discography, or their bookography, if you will. But we want to make sure that, if you want to sort out, you only want to look for the Animorph books are in stock, or if you want to only look at the StarCraft books, rather than endlessly scroll down a table list, we want to make sure that you're able to sort it effectively. Here are some more of the button functions of the functions of the GUI itself. Here are our buttons, so create add button, create delete button, update button. These are our crude functions here. This overdue report one, this one is a custom function. Every library has that manual checkout of 2 weeks thing, as I mentioned before. Well, libraries like to keep up on that stuff. How else are they going to find out who has books out and whatnot? So what this generally does is it will create a CSV file of any books that are flagged past the checkout date window of 2 weeks. So there are some instances that I did go pre-populate there that are overdue. We'll go ahead and look at those next, or soon. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as like the backbone of the program. There are some input validations in here to basically validate, like I said earlier, that nobody's putting information where they shouldn't be. We being me and the AI, because this is an AI's assignment, both Gemini and I Um, lost my train of thought there. Both Gemini and I wanted to make sure that we, had a robust try-catch system, in there. That way, nobody can break the system unintentionally. Excuse me. But yeah, let's go ahead and get in it. Before we do that, actually, I just do want to do a quick mention here. This is our POM file with all our dependencies in it. Since this table was created with SQL, we need to put the dependency in there. The GUI is created with Java FX. There are some simple logger implementations. I ran the program in dark mode. For all the people who don't like being flashbanged when they open a program, you're welcome. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run this here. Give it a second to process. And there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. I'll go ahead and move my camera a little bit out of the way so we get some kind of space here so you can see what's going on. Alright, perfect. As you can see here, this is our library management system. It's very bare bones at the moment. There are other features and stuff that I would have liked to implement. However, let me talk to you for a moment about scope creep. This program started out as what was supposed to be a command line interface. However, like my hero, All Might, I tend to go beyond plus ultra, so I always try to do my best and provide the best work I possibly can. That means going and doing more steps that's required for me. Sometimes it makes the assignment longer for me, but in my personal opinion, I think it's worth it. Okay. So as we can see, this is the main page that when we come into is a table of all of the books currently in the system that I have pre-populated. As you can see here, some of them have images, some of them don't. This is what I mentioned earlier. There is a workaround that I can and have like the actual image files locally stored, but I wouldn't expect anybody who would be downloading this to just, also download a crap ton of image files of these books. Especially that when that gets not feasible. The more books you add, that means the more data that's stored, that means the more data that's loaded. So in the future, if this is not necessarily deemed a needed feature, it can be cut back, but I did want to try to do my best and incorporate some of these pictures. Now, every book here you see that doesn't have it, that's because the Open Library does not have an image for it. Like I said, it directly downloads from there. And as you can see, we've got many titles here that do. And go over our filter systems. Right now it defaults to all books, but let's go ahead and filter it to Animorphs. Oh, it didn't properly filter my Animorph books. That's okay. We'll go ahead and get around to fixing that shortly. But as you can see, it properly sorts and filters for StarCraft. It filters all of my Warcraft books and my Stephen King books. So I need to fix the phrasing behind the Animorphs, but it does generally work as intended. Once it does come back to all books, it does properly pull all books here. So let's go ahead and test some of the features of this program now that we are here. Let's go ahead and add a new book. Now it does have a standard right now of only using the ISBN 10. So it may not properly have functionality with the ISBN 13. Part of the reason why the green mile down here doesn't have an image file. For some reason, the Open Library only has the ISBN 13 for that. They do not have the ISBN 10. Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up an ISBN for a book. I've been doing a lot of these, so let's go ahead and do Animorphs. And lucky for me, Wikipedia brilliantly has all of their ISBNs. So bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead and pull those up right quick. Okay, sorry about that. Took me a minute here. So we already have in our system, reason why I paused it is because I was trying to figure out which ones we had already put in of the Animorph books. There's a lot of them. Like I said, there's close to 60 of them. I did do book 1 through 4, so I'm just going to keep it going in that process. We're just going to go and do book 5. Now, this one is called The Predator. Put in her name, which is K.A. Applegate, and her ghostwriters, if you know, you know. The publisher is Scholastic, aka the people in charge of the sickest book fairs every year. And the book came out in 1996. We're going to go ahead and save that here. And we're going to go ahead and see if our book popped up. Make sure I pull in all of it properly here. And we should see The Predator. Where'd it go? It was here. Here it is. Boom! The Predator. And as you can see, because it has the ISBN, it automatically pulled it. So that functionality is working as intended. I did want to specify that out there. But the purpose of even doing this and even creating this is we want to show off those core functions. So let's go ahead and update the selected book. Let's say we want to set it to checked out, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set the status to check out. Click save. As you can see here, it now shows that it is checked out and it has a due date. This is important. Like I said, all libraries need you to return your books. So please, if you have any checked out and they're overdue, go return them. Pay those fees. They can really use it. Let's go ahead and change it back. We're just going to verify, everybody sees that the changes are being made. Now you can see the due date is gone. Perfect. Now we're going to go test the deletion function here. And basically, we're going to want to confirm that this book is being deleted, but also you want to confirm that you want to delete this book. So I made sure to implement this confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete this book? Okay. As you can see, it is now no longer on the list. So perfect. We have our add new book, we have our update selected book, and we have our delete selected book function. So that's our crew. So let's go ahead and do our last function. And I'm going to sort by the due dates here real quick. Move my camera to the left side. You don't focus on this side here. As you can see, there are due dates here. Well, as you can see, some of these due dates are in the future, and some of these due dates are in the past. So what we're going to do here is we're now going to test the generate an overdue report. So what we're going to do is click the overdue generate report, and it's going to cause you or prompt you to open this. Now granted, you don't need to see the path of all this stuff, so I'm just going to hop right into my inventory management project. And I did already create one, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. So let's go ahead and generate a new one for the sakes of this. And as you can see, it successfully set it, saved it. But then now I'm going to go in. I'm going to go to my project folder here. And we're going to go into that report. Sorry, it opened up on my other screen here. Let's go ahead and space out those lines here. Sure, I could create a macro that does this for me, but I mean, I'm not working with Excel at the moment. So, that being said, as you can see, successfully it did create that file. And you can see here, based on this information, bear with me here, I'm trying to get it in a position where you can see it, both that and the books here. So we have for Stephen King's It says it's overdue because it was 07/15. and it is 7/22 for the date. So all of the dates before 7/22 would be considered overdue. So we got 7/15, 7/05, 7/01, 6/30. 7/15, 7/1, 6/30, 7/5. Those are all of our proper dates that are overdue, which does let us know that it successfully completed its function. I'm not going to save it because I don't necessarily need to edit that. But yeah, here we go. As you can see, the program is fully functioning and all features are working to the specifications as required by this program. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day.